Hey guys, Vas here from Aussie RC Playground and welcome to another unboxing. Well, it's an unboxing of sorts. What you're looking at here on the counter are two E6 III HX monster trucks, but there is a difference between them. This one here is the BES or Bird Eating Spider, which came in this box right here. Now, I decided to do this unboxing a little bit differently because I figured since I've already done a fairly thorough unboxing on this truck, I wanted to talk more about this particular one and the differences between the two and why you would choose one over the other, at least based on the experience that I've had with this particular truck right here. Now, this is the roller version. Team Magic kind of advertised it as a kit, but it's not really a kit. I mean, the only thing I had to assemble on this truck is put the tires on, and that's it. You know, install my electrics, paint the body, and you're up and running. So it's not really a kit per se, where you have to assemble the whole thing, which I actually thought it was going to come as a kit, to be honest with you, but it didn't. It came as a roller, and I guess in a way I'm kind of happy. It saved myself a lot of time putting this guy together. Now, of course, as well as the truck, in the box you do get a bag full of some stuff. There are some components in here which of course will help you complete the build, such as, you know, your servo mounts, and there's a motor mount and all that type of thing that you know, we'll get into a little bit more later on. But I'll give you a brief run through of what it is that you get in the box. There are some preload spaces included for your shocks. So even though these are aluminium shocks versus the plastic body shocks that came on and ready to run, I will say I haven't had any issues with the plastic body shocks at all. They perform brilliantly as they are, but they did of course do aluminium ones, and they obviously still use preload spaces, which I guess to some people that's actually better than the threaded, because you can be a little bit more precise. Well, let me put it this way, with the thread you kind of have to measure, or at least, you know, use your eyes to measure to make sure that you're compressing the springs the same on both shocks. Preload spaces, you know, as long as they're the same thickness, you pop them in, you know that it's set correctly. There's a little bag here. This is for, I think, the ESC switch. That is, of course, if you have a switch that is compatible with this little bracket here. So that's the on and off little piece there. There's also, let me see if I can get my hand in here. There's also a 17mm wheel hex wrench, which this one actually came with as well, which is great. There are some plastic components here which are for the body. Now, these are the plastic components that I'm referring to. You can see that this body is quite bare. It does all come pre-drilled as well, which is fantastic. Obviously, drilling this thing from scratch would be a bit of a nightmare, given that there are so many holes in it, and there's also some holes on the side already pre-drilled. So all you have to do is add the plastic pieces once you're done painting the body. So that's good to go. In here we have our motor mount. This is an aluminium motor mount, and they also include a pinion, which I think is a 15 tooth. I read somewhere or saw somewhere that it was a 15 tooth, or it may even be a bit smaller than that. No, beg your pardon, it is a 13 tooth. I've just seen it now. So that's a 13 tooth pinion. Not 100% sure what size spur gear the spur gear is. I think it might be a 47 tooth. If I find out, I'll put it up on screen so that you guys can see. And last but not least, we have some additional body pins. There's also these little brackets here which you can mount on the side of the truck so that you can secure the body from the side as well. And I don't know, I've had one of these kind of break off on this truck, which was a bit unfortunate. And because they do attach to the chassis, you know, once you've broken, my one kind of ripped a little bit of the chassis out. So once that happens, well, you really can't put it back on. So I'm a bit hesitant about putting these ones on this time around. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I haven't quite made up my mind yet. We'll see how we go. And then they've got this very interesting tool, spring-loaded tool. I'm assuming this is for some specific application, which I'm yet to find out what it's for. But it's, well, it's something that in here, I think it's to open up like E-clips or something. That would be my guess. But this is included as well. Some paperwork, you have some advertisements, some literature and things like that about some pit bags, which by the way, I have received a pit bag recently. Got myself one, and I will be showing you that very soon. There's also parts, sort of upgrades, parts that you can get for your truck. Some stickers that you can decorate your truck with. Some window masks, obviously for the body itself. And of course you have the manual in here, which I've had a bit of a flick through. Very comprehensive manual, but I will say it's a kind of humorously translated into English. I'll read just this one paragraph. This is on the first page. After vehicle gets wetly, that is what it says, I'm not joking. After vehicle gets wetly, please unplug the connecting wire from ESC and battery to avoid put users in danger. Also, making rust-proof process for rings and metal parts is highly recommended. So that's the sort of English that you're going to be getting. Couple of grammar corrections there wouldn't have hurt, I think. Maybe some proofreading. But other than that, all the, the manual's got a bunch of blown up pictures with all part numbers and everything else. Fairly self-explanatory. I think you won't have too many problems with it. You'll be fine. And then last but not least, there are some stickers, of course, for the body once you're done painting it. And yeah, you can decorate it as you wish. Now, I'll quickly get rid of this. I'll just toss that down the bottom there. And we'll talk about the truck a little bit more because I've had a bit of a close look at it, and there are some significant differences. Some I feel are almost unnecessary, some are very much welcomed, and I do believe to be very much a good upgrade from this particular truck. Now, of course, this truck I've had three major issues with it, and that is that it came with a locked center diff, so like a spool diff. There's no gears in it. So basically you have your drive from your pinion or your motor that goes onto a spur gear. It then goes onto a transfer gearbox that then goes onto the diff gear, which is underneath the truck, and that doesn't have any gearing at all. So your power is kind of evenly distributed to your front and rear diffs. All good in theory for great fun, but it does have its downfalls, and that is, it does become a little bit more tricky to control because your front end's constantly coming up because there's no power bleeding to the front. You're just getting direct drive. And also the spur gear was kind of like a really cheap pot iron, pot metal, whatever you want to call it, spur gear. And that has failed, I think, on my first run. After a few minutes, I may have landed under power or something like that, and the whole thing just disintegrated. The teeth just fell clean off. So that's two of the problems there. The locked center diff and the spur gear certainly gave me some grief. And one problem that I really don't see it as a huge big deal, but a lot of people seem to think that it's the end of the world, and that's the rear arms twisting, purely because the upper A arm is a little bit flimsy and a little bit weak. So under power, I've had this kind of twist, and I'll show you guys up on screen, and you can very easily just flick it back and it's all good to go. Nothing's broken, everything's fine. I kind of see that in the same sort of category as losing a body pin or your wheel nut coming off or something along those lines. Because it hasn't really broken, I mean, you just have to flick it back and it's all fine. Should that happen? Is that supposed to be acceptable? No, not at all. Not at all. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's correct. But is it really a big deal? I mean, I don't see that as a problem. One other thing that I have had happen recently, and that was the last run that I did with this truck when I ran a 6S power system through it, and that was that I broke my upper A-arm just over here, and I had one of the pillow ball mounts kind of pop out from the steering knuckle. Because they're plastic, and they're kind of like these plastic sleeves that are held together with a little bolt on the bottom, and the truck may have landed on its side. The pillow ball kind of pushed through the mount and it popped it out, and then the wheel was kind of wobbling like crazy because, well, that little plastic mount wasn't in there anymore. I was kind of hoping that this truck would actually have the aluminium upgrades because Team Magic do make aluminium upgrades. In fact, I have them right here in my hand. I was hoping that it would come with these in here, but it didn't. It still comes with the plastic ones. Now, I do have a set of these for all my wheels, so I've got 2 packets, and I'm probably going to be, I was going to install it in this truck. I'm probably going to be installing it in this truck and taking the plastic ones out of here, using them as spares in this one. I'm assuming they're the same size. I haven't really seen a size difference. So I think these will be a good little upgrade for this one straight out of the box, purely because I'm going to be running some some power, some very big power system through it, a very big power system through it. I haven't quite decided yet what I'm going to run, but I'm working on a couple of things. Hopefully something will come through, and I'll decide then what I'm going to be using. So these are some of the differences. You have a geared center diff in this one, while this one has a locked center diff. There is a CNC machined spur gear in this one. This one came with a very sort of cheap and nasty pot metal type of spur gear. And in regards to the arms twisting, well, I'll give you some close-ups because you won't see it from where you are at the moment, but you'll see that the upper A-arms are very nicely reinforced. They look a lot thicker, they look a lot beefier, and I don't think twisting the A-arms is going to be a problem at all with this upgrade on this truck. So very impressed with that. Another thing that's an upgrade is the front and rear shock towers. Now, I have not had any problems with these shock towers, purely because the shock towers that are on these trucks are actually quite small and stumpy. So they don't, you know, a big shock tower will have a lot of leverage, will allow it to flex a little bit more. But when they're nice and small, like these ones are, they really don't give me too many hassles. And what they've done with this one, here they have 4mm shock towers, here they have 5mm shock towers. They still look like they are pressed aluminium, and you know what? I'm going to take the body off just so you guys can actually peek inside as well. Hopefully, I'll knock this box out of the way, and now we can have a bit of a better look at these trucks. So, 5mm shock towers on this one, 4mm shock towers on this one. Moving on, we also have aluminium standoffs for your shocks on the BES. These ones have plastic standoffs. Not a huge big deal, but it is nice to see that they've also upgraded that. One of the unnecessary upgrades that I've seen is the front and rear drive shafts on these on this truck. Now on this truck they have 5mm drive shafts, which I think are ample for any monster truck. As a matter of fact, I've got monster trucks that have thinner drive shafts than this, and they've been holding up well. So to have 5mm, I think that's already plenty. But what they've done on this one, they've actually gone to 6mm. I mean, these things look almost big enough to use on my real car. So they are very, very thick. Don't think they're going to give up anytime soon. Another thing that I noticed as well, the outdrive cups. On this one here, they are 10mm in diameter, and they're just plain black. This one here, they are silver, and they are 12mm in diameter. So an extra 2mm, and they are extremely thick. They look very beefy, and of course they are steel, I believe, not aluminium, so they should hold up very well. One upgrade that I think they missed an opportunity on was the adjustment links, the camber links, or toe links rather, I should say, toe links on the truck. These are actually, I think, only about 3, maybe 4mm thick. I haven't quite measured them. They don't look very thick at all. I would have preferred these to be upgraded as well over the RTR. So maybe, you know, certainly not complaining about the drive shafts, but I do see it as a bit of an unnecessary upgrade. I would have preferred these links to be a little bit thicker and a little bit beefier to complement the rest of the strength that the truck is displaying here. Of course, you also have a completely different motor mount, and you have an aluminium transmission case as well. Now the motor mount on this one is a little bit tricky. It kind of uses a traditional setup where you undo a screw and you sort of rotate the motor a little bit to get your gear mesh correct, which is a little bit tricky. But on this one they use a sliding motor mount that's secured with a couple of screws up the top, or maybe just one. I haven't quite checked yet. I do have the same motor mount upgrade for this truck, which I will be doing soon. And this one already comes with it, which is great to see. Both trucks do come with LEDs already pre-installed, and of course it's up to you whether or not you want to run them, but they are pre-installed, of course. Wheelie bars on both trucks, not a problem there. The spoiler here has these aluminium washers, which is great to see. As a matter of fact, I also have a pair of these to put on this truck, because when I ran it on 6S, this one comes with just some plastic washers, and I must have landed really hard on the wing, and the screws kind of just went through the plastic washers, and the spoiler just came clean out. I've currently got it in position with just a couple of washers, just some washers I had lying around the house. So I'll put these gold ones on here as well. I've got a spare packet, so I'll install those, and that'll solve that problem, and hopefully the spoiler won't fall off again. What else can I tell you that you're probably not seeing? Now there is one more thing, well there's two more things actually. First of all, the battery trays. Now the battery trays on this truck, they come like this one here on this side. So they have this little like plastic cover with a couple of body pins, and you sort of have to take the body pins off, and the whole thing opens up, and then you put your battery in, and the cables kind of come out one side, and that's how that works. What Team Magic have done is they not only have included these covers. Obviously, if you want to use them, you can, just to keep dust out or anything like that, maybe snow or whatever. Keep that out of your batteries. But when you take the cover off, you're greeted with a really nice and very well detailed Velcro strap, which is bravo from me. I really like that. Big fan of the single Velcro strap to hold everything in place. So I think that's a welcome addition to this truck as well. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it as far as the exterior. Now, there's one more thing, as far as I can remember. It's the bevel gears from your front and rear diffs. On this truck, they're actually curved, whilst on this truck, they're more your traditional straight gears. And I believe that these are machined gears as well. So, not that I've had a problem with these, like the pinion and crown gears. I really haven't had an issue with these. But these ones here seem to be a different design, and hopefully they'll hold up, you know, just as well. Of course, one thing I haven't touched on yet is, of course, the tires. The tires on this truck are incredibly soft. If you can think of, you know, your Traxxas Summit, anybody that's had a Traxxas Summit will have tires probably very similar to these. Really soft, very soft sponge, kind of a high wall. You know, this truck is not really meant for super high speeds. Doesn't come equipped for high speeds. The tires kind of limit the high speed that you can run as well, because you know, they are so soft. This one, on the other hand, comes with what I think are going to be the best ready-to-run tires I've ever seen on a ready-to-run monster truck. These tires feel so similar to a Proline Trencher or Big Joe. The foams are probably a little bit softer than those Proline tires. Actually, to be honest, probably not that much. Not a big difference, but the rubber compound is slightly harder, which I don't mind. I always find that Proline monster truck tires are probably just a smidge too soft. Although great grip, but I do find them to be, especially the Badlands, they're a little bit soft. These ones here, I think, have the perfect compound, perfect rubber compound, much shallower wall as well. So, and the wheels, I mean, what can you say about the wheels? The wheels look absolutely killer. Love these wheels. Love the tires. I love the look of this truck. Very happy with the ready to run, and I'm very much looking forward to running this guy, and I think it's going to be a very welcome addition to my fleet, no doubt. As I said, in closing, I think they missed an opportunity with the toe links. They could have beefed them up a little bit more just to complement the rest of the truck. And also the pillow ball mount, the little plastic sleeve that goes on the knuckle, that would have been nice to get the aluminium ones straight out of the box. Aside from that, I really can't see too many things that I could complain about this particular edition. I like the beefier A-arms to obviously stop the twisting. Aluminium shocks are always welcome. I love the CNC spurred, the geared center diff, of course, and of course the sliding motor mount to make gear mesh that much easier. So I think I'm going to leave it here. I think I've covered everything. If you have any questions about this particular truck, or either of them for that matter, please leave them in the comment section down below. I do try to answer my comments. I don't always have time, so if you don't hear from me, you know, straight away, please be patient, because I do get a lot of comments throughout the day, and it's always hard to keep up. But if you do have something to say, or you have a specific question, please leave a comment down below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Of course, don't forget to check out the video description as well. There'll be more information on this bird-eating spider, or E6 BES from Team Magic, for you guys to go and check out, as well as a link to my Facebook page, and I'll even link up the other videos that I've done with this truck to give you guys an idea of how these trucks run. That is it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.